Hello, everybody. My name is Ana Rezende, and in this podcast, I will share my transformational journey to become a health coach. In each episode, I will address a different subject that impacts our health, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Because I've learned that being healthy means being in balance. If you would like to make amazing discoveries, improve your health, get inspired, and yet find sustainable ways to live and help the planet, tune in. You are in the right place. I'm your host, Ana Rezende, and Good is What Makes You Feel Well is Mama Terra's podcast.
Toma banho de cachoeira, abraça uma pessoa amiga, corre na chuva, escala a montanha, contempla a vista, transcende, levita.
In today's episode, I am talking to my dear friend, Cam Pereira, a fellow countryman, chemical engineer and former co-worker in the aluminum manufacturing industry. A reflective moment in his life a few years back led him to take Sadhguru's Inner Engineering Program, after which he felt called to dive deeper into his inner experience and spirituality. Then, on a sabbatical year, he traveled to India and for 10 months volunteered at Sadhanapada, Sadhguru Gurukulam Residential Program, at the Isha Yoga Center, where he immersed himself into Yogic tradition, a life-changing experience. In our conversation, he talks about Isha Yoga practices, insights from his inner engineering process, and the main lessons he is now building his life upon. I hope you get as inspired by this conversation as I was. Please welcome Cam Pereira. Hi, Cam.
Hello, Ana.
Welcome to Good is What Makes You Feel Well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a very special opportunity for me. Really, truly, very special.
Oh, that's so great. So for us to start our conversation, I would like to ask you, what in this moment of your life makes you feel well?
Yes. So, Ana, there's it's a very so simple question. It's so hard to give you, like a very profound answer because life is it's special in any ways. Like to me, regardless what happens around us, you need to be able to enjoy that. I was thinking, like, before we started this, I knew you were gonna ask that. I was like, I couldn't find a clear answer, and I'm still struggling to answer that because it really doesn't matter what happened around me. Like I can be cooking or I can be working, and what is special for me is, regardless what I'm doing, I'm capable to feel well, regardless of what it is about. Like you don't need to wait for something around you to make you feel special. Like it's inside you, and you should be feeling special at every moment of your life. So I'm not sure if I answer your question, but this is what is inside me, and like regardless whatever is happening in life, you need to be able to manage in a way that you can manage through those aspects without like any harm. So you should be feeling well at any given time.
Oh, that's so great. That is so great. So there is no one particular thing that makes you feel better.
Yeah, of course, we tend to feel more pleasant doing specific things. So I really feel myself the best when I'm doing my yoga. But yoga, it's just not the practice we do. Like yoga is live. Like yoga is to live as in a union, as a part of one. So yes, of course, there are things that like you feel or pleasure when you're doing it, but you gotta master that. You gotta master that ability to again, regardless what you're doing, that feeling should be the same, right? So if I'm at work or if I'm outside work doing, like, let's say snowboard, which I really truly enjoy when it winter comes, and everybody calls me crazy because coming from Brazil, they ask, well, why you like so much in the winter? But regardless of summer and winter, like that feeling inside ourselves of being well, it should be there regardless.
Yeah, that is very true. So tell me how this concept of feeling well evolved for you throughout your life.
How this concept of feeling well evolved. Let's say for me, Anna, I think I will divide that into times. I used to think that, like before I started doing yoga, I used to think that the things that makes me well were, like things that I like is that was more material related, like the things that I had, or like success in some aspects of life, like work or relationship. And those things are good and makes, like most of us feeling good, but they are really not, they are just aspects of life, right? Feeling well, it's, like it's your making, right? So it's your experience about something, and that should be, like you should be able and capable to manage them in a way that regardless what happened in your outside, you should be able to, like have a pleasant experience regardless of it. So like I was telling, I used to think that, like the money that I had is, like will make me feel well, say in the end of the day, oh, like I have money, or wow, I have a beautiful family, right? Or wow, I have opportunity to see places and go places and travel around, opportunity to do this and that. So the doing was also, I also tend to believe that as much as you do, better you feel. But those aspects, like are not really there anymore. Anything you do in life, like you every day, most of us have a blessing to wake up and open up our eyes. That's a very special moment, right? And since that moment that we go through every day, like open up the eyes and wake up for a new day, we take as granted, right? And that's a very special moment as anything that happened throughout the day, right? Anything that happens throughout the day is as much special as, like you waking up or you falling asleep in the end of the day.
Yeah. So if I'm hearing it right, it seems like yoga changed the trajectory for you. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. I would say that there's two camps at least, one before yoga and one after yoga, and it's a life change. Bit of background of myself, and through the most part of my life, I would say that was a pretty much a regular life, right? And I we had similar background. We were born in the same state. We had the chance. I had a chance to go through good university, finish my degree as a chemical engineer, and then join good companies. We worked at the same company for several years. I worked with Alcoa from 2002 to 2018.
Mhm.
16 years there on the same company in different parts of the world. In Brazil was a good part, and then I moved to Canada and I joined Alcoa in Washington State, two different cities there, in Wenatchee and Ferndale, and then I moved back to Canada in close to Calgary in Alberta, where I stayed there for a few more years, and then finally back to Toronto in a different company, a competitor of Alcoa on the aerospace market. Now I work with a company called PCC as operations manager. So far, it looks really good and regular, but in 2019, I had my first, maybe not my first experience with yoga, but I decided to deepen up into that subject. Before, I used to think that yoga was about postures and your body, like your body moves. which I did some of hot yoga before. Even my mom, she used to be a hot yoga teacher. I remember that she was a teacher in a community center or a little bit on a YMCA too. It's just something that like it comes back to your life, and then there was some connection there already since my youth. But in 2019, when COVID hit, I had the time, I was able to deepen up my experience with yoga. So I started doing a course. It's called In Engineering. Very special course. It's given by this foundation. It's a non-profit organization called Isha, which is led by Sadhguru, yogi, mystic, and visionary. So I went through the program, and it's a very special program. Portion of the training it's done online, and portion of the training can be done physically too, and give you insights of life, like from the yogi perspective of it. First program that I did with Isha was in engineering, was very special to me. So the program itself, it's a comprehensive course for like personal growth that empowers you to take control of your life and make it the way you want it. They share different practice and yoga practice. So they mix a little bit of classical yoga, some classical meditation, some secrets of ancient wisdom that it's very impactful in life. Finish the program with the transmission of Shamavi Mahamudra Kriya, which is one particular practice that I do daily. And it's a very profound, it's a very purifying energy technique that includes the breath along with a powerful asanas, which are yoga pose, as we can say. So that was my very first contact with Isha, and lately new yoga for me that's more than just moves was through this program, in engineering program. So I did that, and you can take like it's partial that it's online, and then partially it's physical. You can do it if you decide to do it physical. It takes 4 days. Usually, it's like when Thursday, Fridays half day or just the evening, and then Saturday and Sunday are full day programs. And then after that, it was so impactful in my life that I decided to continue digging into it. So, okay, I want to know more. Like where is the source of it? Where this came from? I wanted to continue, like learn from it. And it's not really, it's more than learn. Learn is probably not a good word, because learn, it's more related to acknowledgement that you have in your mind, but this is not, it's more than just, right? So that was about 2019, right? So when COVID hits, and then I decided to take a sabbatical time, and I went to India, to their center there. So Isha Foundation, they have 3 big centers. The main big center in Coimbatore, South India, in Tamil Nadu state. They do have 2 centers also in North America. They have one beautiful center located in Tennessee. It's called Isha Institute of Inner Sciences. It's a spectacular place in Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee, very close to Nashville. Yes,
Okay.
2 hours of Nashville. And they have also a center in LA. The center in LA is it's new. They use the LA center most for running programs. It's not like in the north of Los Angeles, the valley. It's also beautiful. Those 2 places are very special, and they are dedicated of raising human consciousness. The place in Tennessee, it's amazing. If you're passing through Nashville, you can swing by, we call Triple Y, because of the 3 I's, Isha Institute of Inner Science. And it's a very special place, very peaceful. Yes, they have a hall, right, where they do the programs. And I think it's the biggest yoga hall on the Western Hemisphere. They make sure the people and the tools are there for the people to, once they start into this journey, they have ability to continue deepen up their experience. So I've been in Tennessee many times after I came back from India. So it's it's a very good place to go and recharge myself too.
Huh. I didn't know that. That is so
Yes.
awesome. And it's so close from here.
Yes, it is.
Huh.
Yes. Even from Toronto, a lot of people, they'll drive. It's a 12 hours drive, but they can drive. I like to take the 1 hour flights and then be there as frequent as I can. Probably I go not as often as I should, but I'll try to make the time when I have it. Yes.
Cool.
So this is a little bit of like regular life until 2019, and then I decided to go there. Maybe I should highlight something at this point, Anna, before we start more deeper conversation about like what happened and the benefits of it. Even knowing that I had good job, like I have in somehow some level of success in life from professional and personal aspect, there was a big void in me. I make work as the most thing in my life. And at that time, the old Cam, let's call it the old Cam, used to aim for a work-life balance, right? Which there is not really a thing, work-life balance. There is only life and life, right? No matter what to do, it's life. But the old Cam used to think about the work-life balance, and even knowing that I was aiming for it, I didn't have no work-life balance. I like was work, work, and work. I had that need of like bring that other portion of old life, right, up to a certain level, and I didn't have the chance. So I didn't have a chance to dedicate a time for myself. I used to think that some of do it to like me moving from place to place, from Brazil to Canada to US, back to Canada. I thought that the void of having a root in somewhere was missing. But I found out later that it's not really a root of like a physical root in a place. Like you just need to be centered inside yourself, right? So in looking for that thing, I was glad enough to have the opportunity to take that sabbatical time. I went to India, I went to Isha Yoga Center. There, I joined a program which is called Sadhanapada. Sadhanapada, it's a time that you take for yourself. So they have a very structured program that's set up for the participants to stay there for 8 months, in average of 8 months. I was there from June 2020 to March 21. 10 months, like almost a year. So this program, it says, like it takes you through a process. You get a chance to learn, like about yoga. You experience, you practice on a daily basis. There are several different programs that the participants will go through. In the end, you'll be able to achieve a certain level of balance, live with intensity. I wasn't able before. So I tried different mechanisms of like bring my energies up and live with intensity, but I had no balance whatsoever. So going through this process, it helps me to establish, like this balance, more clarity, a better stability to live a life with fulfillment and joy.
Wow.
I made just a pause to catch my breath and let you help me dig into this.
Yeah. So that is amazing. So it's in the south of India, right? The place
Yes.
you went. And how did you live there? Do they have housing? And so is it an all-inclusive type of program?
Life is all inclusive, Yana. What is this
Yes,
conversation
I
about? Life is all inclusive. Look at the sun, right? Sun comes out every day. Doesn't matter who is shining from. You include everyone. The questions are you making was truly my questions too at that time, because I'm gonna take this time, but I have no clue where I'm going, what I'm going to do. Lots of questions there. I understand that. At that point, there was an even bigger question, because it was the peak of COVID, right? It was a really high peak. And you're going to the country that is the everything besides China. India was even leading the charts when it comes to COVID. And my family, when I broke the news, it was really a shocking. Not only because of going through this, making the decision, which they kind of support me. They say, "No, that's good. You're taking the time for yourself. That's really good." But could you pick a different place or a different time? And I'll tell you, I was very fortunate for it. So you're gonna find yourself some points in life that you don't know what's gonna happen, but you're gonna feel that's what you should do. So, and I think I put my heart before my head, and I made a decision, and it was the most, how do I say, profound experience in my life. I cannot compare with anything. I having great experience in different place. I'm glad enough to like be able to be in different places and experience different cultures. But there's nothing that comes close to what I went through when I lived there.
Wow. So you were in the institute for the whole time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the whole program it's set up for you work on the main four aspects of yoga. The main four aspects of yoga, which the actions that you do, your emotions, your mind, and your energies, right? So the program is structured in a way that you're gonna work all these four aspects of living. So you're gonna have a certain level of action, right? Which is our work, my volunteer work. I was there as a volunteer, right? So this is one portion of it. And then the second portion is the emotions, which is probably the thing that I worked the most because before the old Cam was very lack on emotions. And I know you know me before. It's not like it was no emotions whatsoever, which is not me. I know like I had a certain level of emotions, but I didn't have a truly connection with that. Right? Like yes, I was aware of there's someone else that I'm dealing with, but it's just like it was still a mind thing, not really, like an emotional thing or a heart thing. Let's if you put in as a part of the body, right? And the mind, be there, it's like be born again. So you go through challenges that will work, like your mind faculties, and they work a lot on the energy level, which is a very subtle. All of these three, the energy level is very subtle, right? But this is probably what Isha does the most. They have a lot of we call Kriya, which is an act like a technology, right? Of doing things in a certain way to bring your energies up, right? So they, I learned lots, or I wouldn't say lots, but several different kriyas that are designed to, like work on your energy level. So those four aspects, they are really well balanced. When I first initially shared with friends or people around me, everybody thinks like, oh, you're going for a vacation. Like you're gonna take a year of your life just to relax, right? And sip some coconut water. And that's not what it was about. If you're listening that and think that is a nice vacation story, that's not what it's about. It's a very hard and intensive program, which I would do it again and again and again. But it's a very hardcore schedule. You waking up at 4:30 in the mornings every day. There's no such a thing as Monday and Sunday. Yeah, there is a thing we know, but you do the things all 7 days of the week. So you're waking up at 4:30, so you have some time for to get ready for your morning, and then 5:30 you start the practice, and then for the most part of the morning, you do like yoga practice. You're being taught for us, so it's not like you go there. No, there's a process. You go through training. Like they will teach you what to do. So you learn, right? So from 5:30 to 9 o'clock, it's all yoga practice. And then you break at 9 o'clock. About 9 o'clock, you probably are done. So good 4 hours there in the morning for yoga, and then you start your volunteer, right? So you do some yoga in the morning, mainly of the volunteer. It's in the afternoon. We will eat twice a day. We will have a brunch about 10 o'clock as a brunch. And then in the evening, we have dinner around 7 o'clock. In the end of the day, another 2 hours, around 2 hours of yoga practice. So you have 6 hours of yoga practice plus 6 hours of volunteer. So those things kind of balance those aspects that I mentioned before: your action, your mind, your energies, and your emotions. The volunteer aspect of it, now I'm going to fast forward and say that the volunteer is just the word itself it should be a way of living. I'm afraid that perhaps if my boss even listen this, I might be in trouble, because when I go to work, I think I'm just a volunteer there. I'm really not an employee. That's the way I think, on my mindset. Because the mindset of volunteer is you do whatever needs to be done. Whatever is required to do, you do. And that's what you should do in life. Okay, now I have do this work, you do that work. Now I have to do this family work, you do that family work, right? You do what's needed in that situation. And this is what volunteer is. So you don't pick, like, oh, I'm gonna do this and that. You do whatever you name it for. Okay, Cam, you need you for doing this. This is what you do. And when you do it, you put the best of yourself forward. And so no matter what it is, you put the best of yourself forward. This is what life is about. So as a volunteer, I work to many different places in the center. The center is like a living city. So it's like you're part of a city, right? So you're a citizen of a place. But this place is a place that everybody is working in one goal, right? It's personal growth. The only thing that everybody has in common is their own personal growth. And as we seek for that personal growth, we all grow together. So there's really not a collective growth if you don't grow yourself first. It might sound a little selfish for some people, like, okay, so you look into yourself. This is very selfish. But yes, you just go together if you take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, and then you can think about take care of someone else, right? So as volunteer, I did many things. I work in a farm. I work they have like a tree care that takes care of the trees, make sure they have what's needed to grow, and especially like it's a fruit tree or a flower, they need a lot of care. I work in the dining room, which is called Diksha. Diksha is when you ask for food. That's a Diksha. So I work in the dining room, serving people. And among all the things that I did, that was very, very special to me. And it's still today, when I do some volunteer work, the serving food became a very special thing to me, because if you really think about it, like when you're eating, you're making something part of your life. You're just not having a snack. You're having a certain amount of energy that become you or become your life. It's a life offering, right? It's not really a food offering. It's like you're offering life. So it's very special to me, especially the days that we fast. So there are on the yogic culture, they used to fast twice a month, which is called Ekadashi days. So it's 4 days before full moon and 4 days before new moon. It's usually the day that we fast. On the yogic culture, those days the body eats in a way that it really doesn't need food. So those days are the days that like you give away the food, so you enable other things to happen, right? So you're not attached to that compulsiveness of eating, so you can work in some other aspects of life. So especially on the fasting days, I would work very hard. In the end of the day was very powerful to me. The kitchen is it's a 5,000, I think there's about an average 5,000 people every day in the center.
Wow.
So 10,000 meals every day. So the kitchen is huge, but Anna, you would not believe. Because if you go to any kitchen, industrial kitchen, in any part of the world, I would say, well, most part of the world, it's very busy and noise. Things need to get done, and it was the most peaceful and joyful kitchen that I ever entered.
Oh
You
my
know, like
gosh.
it's really, I really cannot describe the process of it. Gordon Ramsay was there once. Interesting, you can Google and you can check the YouTube. Gordon Ramsay has his experience of eating their food. Food is very delicious. Going back to your first question, what makes you feel well, right? This their food is really good. They have two different restaurants, a spicy restaurant, and they have also a non-spicy because the South India food is very spicy. And the yogi doesn't really see as a benefit. It's their food, right? If you take the spice of it, Sadhguru said, like, I did a lot of things here, but if I take the chili out of the food, nobody will, nobody will stay. So they won't eat. But it's very spicy, so I struggled in the beginning, and then I glad that they had the no spice, so I could have no struggles with the food. And the food is very, very delicious. And so I work all these different things, and there's the temples that you can work. And I end up most of my volunteer. I was part of their IT team, helping them on various aspects of IT. But like this volunteer, it's really a secondary thing. The most important thing there is it's the whole process of make sure those core aspects comes to like yourself, your mind, your body, your emotions, and your energies are well balanced.
Mhm.
I'll make
Wow.
another pause.
So I'm so curious about the kitchen. So you said it's quiet and peaceful. So there is no people chatting. So you work
Yes,
quietly.
there's some sharing, but very, like in the whole center, it's the kindness of the people.
Mm.
Even there's something goes wrong, you're still able to get the stuff done and correct things and even address people when it needs to be addressed in a way that it's still kind. And not like if you need to be hard or firm, you are and you do, but with the same level of gentleness and kindness. So people are very kind throughout. And the kitchen was powerful to me because it's a massive kitchen. You have to see it in order to grasp it, but people get the job done. People
Uh-huh.
are running around and getting the job done without the craziness. Different types of foods to serve, and there's a schedule to meet, and everybody will run around to meet, but it's still, like in a joyful manner that it
Uh-huh.
goes seamless.
I see. Tell me about the food. You said the food was delicious, even the non-spicy one. So is that vegan? Is that anything special or it's just regular?
Yeah, no, it's 100% vegetarian. It's not a vegan because there are use of milk and ghee. Ghee is the clarified butter from the
House
milk.
milk.
That doesn't make it vegan, but it's a vegetarian, 100% vegetarian. And more than that, it's there are some types of food that helps you with your energy, right? So that it's called prana for on yogi science. So the food, it's a prana positive food. No onion, no garlic, and maybe I shouldn't say that because people go away. Oh, there's no way I can make a good food without onion or without garlic, and yes, you can, and it's gonna be still delicious, and it's gonna be best for your body too. So the food is amazing. They have books with their recipes with a lot of ideas, but one aspect and the most important aspect, they're very rich on millets, which is normally one thing that we have in our day-to-day life. Maybe like quinoa, it's something that's close to it that we have in our as Western style of living. We have quinoa, but there are other millets. So many different type of millets. I wasn't really connected with millets before, and it's a very powerful food. It's easier to grow. It's better than rice. So millets kind of competes with the rice. The rice requires a lot of land and water to grow. Millet doesn't, so it's efficient to this aspect. Like yoga itself, always about efficiency. What you put into your body, it has to be the thing that is most beneficial for your body, and even as you grow, right? So they grow it because it's efficient plant to grow.
Mhm.
But the rice was still there. Also, still rice and flour, we use it. But the food is very rich on millets, different millets, very colorful.
Hmm. What about beans? Do they eat beans?
Yeah, yes, lots,
Lentils?
a few beans, yes, a lot of lentils, a lot of chickpeas.
Chick. Mhm. Okay, so very
Anna, the
interesting.
food is amazing. Period.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get the details. So, from what I understood that you said, you did 6 hours of yoga practice every day. So, from what you said about the Kriyas, I'm guessing it is Kundalini based practice. Is that correct?
Kundalini is part of it too, but
Okay.
Kundalini is a very specific way to work in your body and your energy. Kundalini is there too. How can I? So it's a good mix. They starting off the practice with some chanting, which you do chanting for a good time, and then next thing that we do it's called yogasana. So it's a sequence of about 20 to 30 yoga poses.
Mhm.
So those poses are designed to connect you with life, right? To connect you with each of that posture or the asana is designed to connect you in some way, right? With life. So that's one. And then there's other kriyas like the Surya Kriya. The name Surya is towards sun. So there is a kriya that brings you a balance between sun, which is plays an important role in life, right? Bring the life. Besides those daily practices that we do, we also, as a participant, we also get the chance to participate of some experiential programs. So
Mm.
programs that you don't necessarily need to know anything. You can just walk into it. The only requisite, and I'll take part of these programs, is in engineer. In engineer program, it's a very basic course that will give you the minimal knowledge, if I would say
Mhm.
so. It's more than knowledge, but would give you the fundamentals that you need to attend all the programs. I was able to attend what they call Bhava Spandana program. Bhava, Sanskrit, sensorial feelings, your vision, your capability to see, your capability to listen and speak. So this is Bhava. So this program enhances all these aspects. So bring your awareness to a certain level. It's not like a thing that you do. You gotta go through it. You sleep in the yoga hall, right? You wake up in the yoga hall. You go through the program to achieve those things. So every day it's towards, I can't really explain, even if I want, but I will deprive some of the explanation because you don't want to take that feeling of going through it for the people that will do it, right? So you really can say much, or this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. Otherwise, when you go through it, your heads think, oh, now I remember Cam said that, like this is gonna happen. Then that will wash all the other experience that would happen. You're just gonna have that thought in your mind.
Yeah.
But as I said, so this the Bhava Spandana, it's a very works on your listening, your vision, your taste, in a way that you see a brighter life. When you do the Sadhanapada, you have opportunity to go to these programs too. There is a silence program, 5 days silence program. What I did, there was a 3 day silence, also designed to, even knowing that you're in a hall with several, like 100 people around you, it's just like you're by yourself, right? And there's no talking, no speaking, there is no income information from outward. So it really gives you what you need to dig inside yourself, and and then take the most advantage of the program, right?
Yeah.
And there's lots of different meditation. I did some Nikki yoga before, like I said, but not really. I really couldn't call them as, like I said, yoga is life, right? So regardless of what you do as practice, the living is the most important thing, but the practices are there. So different meditations that you get to learn too. And there are some meditations that are very powerful. Some meditations are very well known. So there's one of the programs that you attend and you learn. It's one of the kriyas. It's a Shakti Shalana kriya. It's a very powerful kriya. It's also combined with one type of meditation that's called Shunya meditation. Shunya meditation, it's a word that describes emptiness. So it's a time that you sit, you just go into a big emptiness of life, right? So you're there. It's like you are there, but you're really not there. Some friends and family that sees me doing it say, "Oh, Kim's gonna go to his power nap." It's a short meditation, but very powerful and beneficial to your day-to-day life. And it's, like I said, it's taught among with another Kriya, so the kind of balance themselves can boost your energy, and another one kind of balance the other side of it, which is nothing. So yeah, so those are some things I'm trying to just give a little glance, a little, like a
Yeah,
small little
yeah.
piece for people. My words are very simple. English is not my mother language, so I really can use fancy words to motivate people. So if there's no really motivation there, at least some sense of curiosity for people, they can seek from themselves, and then perhaps they'll, lead it to their spectacular and wonderful experiences too.
Yeah. What comes to my mind from hearing you talk about this is that it is a combination of everything that we are talking about in this wellness world. So there is a little bit of meditation, there is a little bit of Kundalini to move your energy up your body. And then there's the asanas, that is flow, and that is physical exercise. And then that is this philosophy of life. Then there is food. Then there is the habits of going to bed early and waking up early and serving, right? So it is a combination of everything. Like you said, yoga is life. And that is what life should be for everybody. A combination of everything that you do to improve yourself first and to serve others, right?
That's it.
So yeah, no, it looks amazing. It looks amazing. And then with
Oh,
good food.
yeah. Like I said, very special. There are other aspects of it that I'll I'll bring this to the rest of my life. I had the chance to, my wife and I, we had three different celebrations of wedding here in Canada. We also did with her family in Iran, and there in the Isha Yoga Center. It was very special. Now your partner in life, so that was a very special for both of us.
Okay, so did you meet her there, or you went
No,
together?
yeah, she was there with me together, and we met here in Toronto.
Okay.
Yes, Toronto has those the beautiful thing of big cities like Toronto. You have this clash of people from everywhere, and I was lucky enough to meet her here when I moved to Toronto. Yes, we had the opportunity to go to this process together. So, which is good, being in a relationship can be bring some distractions. You gotta give, like the attention that's needed. You
Yeah.
could be some distractions, but it helps to support. We came back stronger, right? So I went back to the same company that I was working before. So I was lucky enough to manage that. Life, it's kind of, it was a seamless process, even though there was a hard decision and a hard aspects there, but it ended up in being a seamless process to me, or maybe that's the way I see it.
Well, now let me ask you. So the new Cam still does
Yes.
everything
I'm glad that
that you learned there?
I'm gonna tell you one thing. Lots of things, I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but usually people see the physical difference a lot, right? This is it's the most clear to normal eyes, right? The physical change. Before I went there, I was like over 100 kilos, like 220 pounds. My weight dropped on like a couple months. My weight dropped dramatically down to, 190, like 170 pounds in the end of the program, like 80 kilos. So that was the weight that I had just after leaving university. Yes, I gained a few. I'm still halfway there. There's a difference in the body that's It's easy for the eyes to see, but the biggest differences are maybe not so easy to the eyes, right? So my mind is a more quiet mind than it used to be. Anxiety was there and the stress was there. And yes, I still work. My role is the same. I go to the same thing. I just go through it joyfully. I have that capability now. I have a more clarity than before. The energy aspects. My life is intense through the way I wake up to the time I go to the bed. Even if I'm sitting or not doing nothing, you might see that nobody's there, but it's still very intense. And the biggest change, the biggest to me and inside was the emotion part of it. So I never found myself with tears coming to my eyes before. Nowadays it's easier. If you go to something that is emotional or has a level of emotion there, I will get connected with it. The program ends in March, which is the beginning of the spring, right? So there's one portion of the program. It includes a yatra, which is a trek. The center is located in a foothills. It's called Vilagrini Hills, also called by them as the south of Kailash. Kailash is a very important mountain from the yogi aspect. The area itself, it's a very special area. So, and then you go to this hike or this trek. As part of the program, this specific program, you get to this trek, which is not an easy trek, right? You got to climb, like 6,000 feet hill, 6 hours climbing throughout the day. We climbed it in the night because it's the colder, right? So we climbed throughout the night. And just that climb itself, it cracked something in me. Just that trek itself, in a way that you see things, and and I'll tell you something that it's it's a very special time of the year for the people living there. Thousands of people do this trek every night in a specific time of the year. Like I said, March. They have a big festival. It's called March Shivratri. It's a week-long festival. It culminates with one full night of festival non-stop. So throughout the night, everybody's awake throughout the night, from 6 in the night to 6 in the morning. So as part of the festival, this trek, you see things that this might sound weird, but the trek starts with very steep steps. I saw so many people going through it. You go, it almost like you're floating. You go seamless up the hill, even knowing that's a very hard and intense. You just go like easy. And I saw many things, but things that are very strong to me. I saw elderly, a couple that went to this yatra. You gotta have a certain level of fitness in order to make through it. And I saw halfway to the trek, I saw this high 60s, if not 70s, elderly couple doing the same yatra as 20 or years old kids going up the hill, people with special needs. So it has this power to move people, right? And it moved me in a way that emotional part of Cam wasn't there for sure. And now it's very bright on me. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've talked to different people telling me experiences of going up the mountains and connecting with nature and how that powerfully changed them. So what I'm listening is the same thing. So I've talked to 2 different people that went up to the Monte Roraima in Brazil, and they had the same experience that you had. Like you go up one person and you come down a different person.
Yes.
Kind of experience. So it is really interesting to see how this connection with nature and immersing in nature, of course, it's a very special place. All the mountains are very special. But I think this is the kind of connection with nature that we don't have when we are living in cities.
Yes.
And then going on those hikes, that is what happens. That is the profound connection.
We walk a lot barefoot, and that People that didn't have a chance to experience, they might say like, oh, what story is that? But there is a difference when you walk the floor with your bare foot, when you eat the food that like it's growing closer to you, that has a different impact on your system. So these are really true things.
Yeah.
Nowadays we eat. I grew up in a almost like a poor family, but I had treasure in my life. My mom and dad, they have a backyard that grow like this small backyard, but they had avocados, orange, berries. They had anything. Eat that food that's just there on your land that you take for granted. Nowadays, you want to eat avocados from California, but it doesn't have it definitely doesn't have the same impact. So it's people might take as granted, but it's very impactful. It gives me joy and I smile when you post your tea by your garden when you're barefoot.
Yeah, this is something that I learned and I keep in my routine because I do believe we need to connect, and we are the caretakers of the land, and we need to connect back with it. So that is what I'm leaving now. I'm leaving on this place that everything that I want is to connect people back to nature, because I think that is what is missing. This link is really important, and it's going to bring everybody this joy that you found inside of you doing this program. It's because you were deeply connected with yourself, and we are all part of nature, but at some point we disconnected, and this is causing all kinds of troubles now for our society. And that is what I'm trying to do, inspire
That's
people
very
to
much true.
find this connection.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm so glad you did this program. I am so glad. That was a blessing, right?
Like I said at the beginning, by far the most profound thing that I ever did. I did many things, but nothing. I don't know. I cannot tell about the future. I'll let the future open for what has to happen. And yes, of course, there's lots of things will happen ahead of me. But that's for sure a very special moment in life.
Yeah.
I know, like, and I'm glad I share a few things. I know, like, I'm not a spokesman, but it's just very special to me. To anybody out there, like, if you can manage to take your time to yourself, you'll find the place that you connect. I found Isha, and I will recommend. I have an app that I can use on my phone and it helps me with my daily practice. So it's a Sadhguru app, so it's there. So I know, like, if there's anything, if anybody's interested, you can Google it. Everything that I said is it's out there. The Isha Foundation website. If you're curious, you can take a look. Perhaps you can do a few things, then it starts a journey for well-being.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll put all the
Reference.
the website in the notes. So if people want to know more about it.
So it's ishafoundation.org, the main website. But if you Google it, Isha Foundation or Sadhguru, the true sources, and many programs are available there. Like I said, my first program that I did is in engineering, which is a catch me because I'm engineering. So, like tend to see things like in a rational way. And the way Sadhguru speaks, it's very logical and makes sense. And I think, like, and if you don't speak in a way that makes sense to people nowadays, you're not going to be heard. So he speaks in a very logical way, which catches me. Like it's not something that I'm doing because like it's someone is telling me. It is I'm doing because it makes sense. It's the most sense of doing it something. His wisdom is, I don't know, uncomparable. I watch a lot of Sadhguru videos before I take the in engineering, and once I decide that okay, that I think I can grasp that, and was very, like I said, pragmatical and logical to my mind. So I took in engineering, and that kind of was the gate to everything else.
Yeah.
So maybe some of the attendants will adventure on those aspects too.
Yeah. Like you said at the beginning, there are so many different paths, and all of them lead to the same place, and that is inside us.
Your side, that's
Yeah.
exactly.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much. I love this conversation. I'm so glad you did this program, and I hope people will get inspired to work on themselves and be better.
So I'm very happy to be part of it. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys so much for listening. It means a lot to me that you chose to be here. To help Mama Terra's mission of making the world a disease-free place for generations to come, you can follow the show, write a review, or talk to your friends about it. You can also subscribe to my newsletter. Every week, I craft good health and wellness tips, recipes, and book recommendations with love and care, just for you. My intention is to give you information and resources to help you make good choices and feel well. Find the link to subscribe in the show notes. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you again for being here. We have lots of new episodes coming up, so stay tuned. And remember, good is what makes you feel well.
Transcende, levita, toma banho de cachoeira, abraça uma pessoa amiga, corre na chuva, escala